Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and it is a somewhat fittingly chilly Saturday morning, and we are going to watch our newest poll winner show. This poll was a landslide victory for one Sorayori, or Yorimo, or A Place Further Than the Universe, a show which I have heard plenty about when it was airing. I was into anime when this came out. I just never really gave it a second look. I don't really know why, but I've heard lots of good things. I know very little about the plot and have done everything in my power, as usual, to avoid any spoilers, including malsynopsis and, like, everything else. So what I know is there be girls, and they're going to Antarctica for reasons that I don't know. I assume that they're emotional reasons, personal things, stuff like that, but again, I really don't know. While I did avoid the malsynopses and stuff, I did, as usual, go through all of the staff list, because I find the staff for this show pretty interesting, as I often do. And also just because this is a Madhouse show, and I've been saying for a little while that I think that Madhouse is on the decline. I'm not saying that Madhouse cannot make good things, just that I think they're a little bit on the decline. They had some golden years, and then some staff changes happened, notably head staff, people at the up high in the industry. And there's a pretty solid reason that Mappa kind of became a big thing, and yeah, okay. So I went through the staff list for this show, and there is a lot of note here. So our director is Atsuko Ishizuka. She is pretty wonderful. She directed Hana Yamato, which I've seen a couple of episodes of and thought was gorgeous, although it didn't have a ton of meat to it, as well as No Game No Life. So that's already a huge widespread of different types of stories being told by this director in interesting and kind of fun ways. The script is by the ever-prolific Juki Hanada, who also did some script and screenplay and series composition for Hibike and K-On! So we've got a bit of that Kyoani, how do we write girls interacting with one another, both in more casual circumstances and in more dramatic circumstances, as well as something like Steins Gate, which is also on his I guess, a notch on his belt, which is all very different and very interesting in terms of the ways that characters interact. It's unique. So, got some script chops. Music is by Yoshiaki Fujisawa, who did the Hoseki no Kuni soundtrack, and then nothing quite as good since then, sorry. We'll see if this is on the same level. I kind of hope so, because music can make a show like this, as we definitely saw with stuff like Yuru Camp. Color design, Haruo Ono, who has been apparently quite a long-time staffer at Madhouse. I was trying to say Mappa and the word escaped me. I'm an idiot. Did color design for Claymore, No Game No Life, which is rather notable for its color design, which is unique and interesting and cool. Hana Yamata, which is more down to earth, but also really colorful and really pretty, and I kind of want to watch again now that we're getting into another Madhouse show. And Akagi, one of my personal favorite shows, which I think I reacted to like 4 episodes of on a whim at one point because I felt like doing it, so you can go and find that if you want to. So color design got somebody with some interesting chops on different ends of the spectrum, with like some cute girl stuff in Hana Yamata, some crazy pinks and glowy things in No Game No Life, and then some like dark and gritty and grimy and gory in Claymore. All right, cool. Character design by Takahiro Yoshimatsu, who also designed the characters for Hunter x Hunter, did the adaptation for them, I mean. Karakuri Circus, Tsunobozu, which has great character designs, and Trigun, so that's cool. And the director of photography I thought was interesting because it is Yuki Kawashita, who recently did some excellent work in terms of photography and composition on Vinland Saga, as well as being a staple at Madhouse in a regular at Magic High School Magic High School and Death Parade and certain other things. So staff across the board is experienced, I would say. Each of them has at least one show under their belt that I think is like a career touchstone moment for each of them. Like, you look at the photography and composition of Vinland or Death Parade, and you're like, okay, I got an idea of what Kawashita is capable of. You look at the music of Hoseki no Kuni, and you're like, okay, I've got an idea of what Fujisawa is capable of. You look at any of the things that Yuki Inada has written, and you're like, yeah, okay, this guy can write. And you look at the things that Atsuko Ishizuka has directed, and you're like, okay, yeah, this could work. This whole thing could really come together. What is it going to be? I made a little list of things that I wanted to go through, which were just like intro, staff, and expectations. I've been informed that I shouldn't expect this to be on the Iyashike scale in the same way that something like Eurocamp is, which makes me think that we're more likely to get a more Hibike-esque show that is focused deeply on characters, individual emotional character moments, and goals and reasons for goals. In this case, those goals seem to center around going to Antarctica for whatever reason, which is kind of a crazy, off-the-wall, ridiculous thing, to the extent that it actually makes me wonder if any of our characters are, like, terminally ill. I know that's a weird thing to come out the gate with, but, it's such a bucket list item and a weird trip to take that it actually makes me wonder if any of these characters is looking at the end of their lives and trying to get something done before then. But that's just a thought. It could be anything, and it could be on a very lessened level of the same kind of thing, like we need to do this as friends before we all graduate high school and go our separate ways. We need to do some big, cool thing together, which would also make a lot of sense. But that's just, like, super conjecture-y stuff, because as I said, I really haven't, like, read the synopsis. All I know is they go to Antarctica, and these are the staff who are working on it. So, I don't know. I'm expecting emotionalist. We'll see if we have that magical balance between the dramatic and the melodramatic, and manage to walk that tightrope really effectively. If we can, then this is going to be an interesting ride. Even if we can't, it's going to be interesting to see where we go with this and what all of these staff members put together when they're working together. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Sorry. Brain fart. Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see what all these staff members can produce when they're working together, and should be interesting. So, we're gonna watch one episode today because it's the first episode, and introduction to characters and things like that. There's always more to dive into in the first episode. I don't know how dense this show is going to be moving forward. I'm not going to commit to doing like 2 episodes a week or whatever. We're just gonna play it by ear, and each week we will watch as many episodes as I want to watch, because that's how I like doing these things. Thank you to the people who made this such a landslide victory on Patreon. I didn't expect it to be quite as landslidey as it was, but I'll if editing me remembers, I'll show you the poll and how it went, and it was brutal for everything that wasn't Sorayori. So cool. And well, that's really about it. If you want to be around for next polls when they come out, you can check out my Patreon. It's linked in the place. As well as if you want the next week's reaction to Sorayori and everything else that I watch weekly, it'll be up a week early on Patreon, so check that out if you want to. In any case, we're just about ready to go. So I've gone and acquired Sorayori. I went and grabbed the MTBB rip from Nya. If you are aware that it is a suboptimal rip or suboptimal subs for whatever reason, then please let me know. As far as I could find, it's got the most seeds and the most people being like, thanks, this is good. So I grabbed it, and it looks like it's a Blu-ray rip, I think. I'm actually not positive on that, but it looks like it's a Blu-ray rip, and it's got fan subs, and so we're going to watch it with that. If we need to change it up by next episode, I'll let you know what we change it to. Otherwise, we're going to stick with this until somebody tells me that it's a bad idea. I have episode 1 of MTBB's copy of Sorayori up and ready to go, so let's dive into it. There will be 2 versions of this reaction video, as usual. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you want to do a syncy thing and sync up your own copy of these episodes with the timer-based version, you are welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready, because the beep-beep timer to count you down to 0, and the green light, which is when we're going to start, will be coming at you right now. Lake, sea, foghorn, or fairy horn. Bridge? Bridge. Pretty water. Alright, little leaf boats. Okay. Action A. Instantly, the highlights are really noticeable. Okay. Big stack of romance novels and such. Got an introverted dreamer type of character with a penguin. Probably relevant. And we're just going to hold this shot. And she's going to enter frame? Or are we going to cut? Nope, she's going to enter frame. Go on a journey without a plan. There we go. Bingo. That was fast. Okay. On another page. Hello, Waterworks. Oh, straight into the OP. Cool spinning shot. And there's Antarctica. A story that leads to the Antarctica. Antarctic. Okay. These backgrounds are really good. Like show any level, these are real places. Huh. That's a cool shot. Very, very attractive CG. Well used for the boat. All right, we've got a group of goobers going out into the wilderness. $1,000,000 for youth. Okay, Yui. Okay, Yui. Super reminiscent of the first episode of K-On! And Hibike. Also super different. Okay. Why don't you travel? I like friend character. Mego-chan. And Kimari? Did you see that? That camera movement down the stairs? That was... I want to see that again. Stairs... 5 men. Okay, Yui. She is a goober. I like her. Hello, little sister. Mm-hmm. Hello, Tanuki. Haha. So she does this often. That's really pretty. Or no, she's never done this before. She's just going out on a whim now. Got it. Yeah. Nice. Thanks, homie. Oh, geez, I thought that was part of the wall, and then the bus moved, and that was really strange. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, all of these backgrounds, man, are excellent. And we haven't even had a moment yet. Okay. This track is dope, too. Got this swelling orchestral stuff. Yeah, we're gonna hit some interesting emotional beats in this show. Oh, she... Hmm... Fear of the unknown. Sure. Yep. Jump. Okay. Reluctance. We suffer by our reluctances. Oh, hello. Other character? Passing you by. An opportunity. And then there's the get 1 million yen challenge behind her. Yeah. Uh-huh. Makes sense. Yeah. And had long dark hair. That narrows it down. Not at all. I would wager student council, but okay. In an ethics book. All right, there she is. Chase her down, chase her down. Oh, to the girls' room. All right. Looks kind of dingy. And it's a school bathroom. This could go very comedic or not. Hey. Oh. Oh. Hey, by the way. Yeah, definitely her. Oh, there it is. All right. Got it. Click. Hello, I have your Huakuman. Oh, shit. Oh! Speak again. Speak again. Say a thing. Thank you. Yeah. Oh. I can't tell. That Nani sounded real familiar. Oh. 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 Constantly hearing that's impossible. Train studying to go to Antarctica. Got it. So the money that you won from some kind of raffle was for that. Oh. No, she made that money. Okay, okay, okay. And welcome to the club. Kind of. Yep, she's already running past you. Do you want to catch up? Hey, look, visual. Oh, there's a character. Hello, major character. Oh, hello, no game, no life. Okay. That's not that much. You want bet? An obsession and a goal that in itself is holding her back. Oh. There's the book. Okay. Uh-oh. Let's bully the kid without a mother. Elbow to the nose. It works real good. Oh, that was cute. The well-intentioned Genki Goop. Little bits of character stuff. Yeah, nice. Okay. That is Hanakana, isn't it? For sure. Book. Aww. And you already have something that you want. Aw. Mmm. Bingo. Alright, alright, alright. They fall away. Right. Awesome. Alright. Better be there. Icebreaker Shirase. Cool. Uh-huh. And it's eating at her. Better be there. She's already gone. It's crazy. It's actually clean. Oh! We're doing a scene. Another insert song. Wow. And better take a step forward. There we go. Found her. Spotted marble? It's a little chunk of change there. All right. All right. Find out more about Antarctica. Okay, back to the same place we started. That's a big boat. Some really stellar CG. And that looks painted. She's really cute. Just saying. Okay, so there's our rhyme at the end. In a George Lucas rhyming kind of way. And 20 seconds remain. Preview? Nope. Showing her beginning interest. Miyake. And that's it. Okay. Hmm. This is a solid setup. Simple and clean. There's no extra fluff to it. I think first episodes are really interesting because for so many reasons. But they're crucial in modern anime because people will watch, I mean, I do this. We'll watch the first episode, go, that was all right, and never watch another episode unless it absolutely wows them and takes their breath away. So you gotta front load your show, and you gotta strike a balance between like getting into what these characters are about and why they're trying to do the things that they want to do, whether that's forming a club or doing a thing or going on a journey or going camping, whatever. You've got to get into it enough to give the audience a taste, but you also can't get too into it or people will be like, exposition dumps, I hate them. So you got to strike a really interesting balance there. We got 2 tidbits of character, really, from our 2 main characters, whose names I am not going to remember. I know that one of them is Kimari, but I think that that's a nickname given by her best friend Megu. I have to go to the Mal page and look at the one thing that I didn't look at, which is the voice actors list, and characters list, which I have closed. God damn it. Sorayori. Got it. Okay. Voice actors list. Kobuchizawa Shirase. Okay, and the boat is the Shirase, isn't it? Oh. Okay, and then Hinata Miyake and Yuzuki Shiraishi, and our main is Mari Tamaki Mari. Okay, and she's been Kimari. Got it. Cool. Got it. Cool. And then Megumi is Megu. Okay, and Shirase Kobuchizawa is Hanakana. All right, I thought so. I thought I recognized that Nani. Cool. We got it's a focused episode, and we're focused on Mari, or Kimari. I don't know. I'll try and figure it out. For the majority of the episode, we get sort of secondhand exposition from Shirase. Jesus, this is going to be difficult. Names, man, names. We get secondhand exposition from her, but it's all through the lens of who Kimari is and what she wants to be, and how she sees this other character in front of her. I mean, our first introduction to Shirase, okay, we'll figure it out eventually. Our first introduction to her is her running past Kimari as Kimari is moving in a direction that she wants to go. She's taking a train somewhere weird, right? Going somewhere she doesn't expect, and this girl just rushes straight past her, already ahead of her. It's really clear, really straightforward visual storytelling. She's a few steps ahead in terms of actually jumping into something that she cares about and wants to do. Reckless idealism and jumping into something you care about without much heed as to what people say about whether you should do it is kind of near and dear to my heart, considering what I do with my life. And starting it off with absolutely no guarantee of success. So I'm fascinated by that as a major character motivation. Kimari in particular. Well, where do I start with this? Reluctance is an interesting topic. Reluctance to jump, and an important one. My father used to come up with sayings a lot, and try and whittle them down into something useful. And one of his favorites, and one of my favorites of his, was, "We suffer by our reluctances." And it's a statement that's been with me for a long time, and I think it's one that rings true in my experience and from what I've seen of other people's experience with life. There is very little worse than wanting something or wanting to do something and being reluctant, whether you want to call it fear or not. It's in the same ballpark, but you don't have to think about it as fear. But to be reluctant to do or grasp something that you want, whether it's asking out somebody you like, or just talking to them and starting a conversation, or starting a side business, or going to the gym because you feel like maybe you'll be ostracized or whatever, or something on the more crazy end of the spectrum, going to Antarctica, going on a crazy journey with no plan. To want that thing and be reluctant to not do it, to avoid doing it because you're afraid, kills you. It kills you inside. It is the worst. It is just the worst, because you have to live with that. And it ties into regret, because reluctance, you could almost say, is fear of regret. And I know that's a strange thing to say, but it's fear that once having done this, you will regret having done it. But it comes with its own set of regret, which is the regret of not having done it. So you're trading one for the other. You're going to suffer either way. You might as well suffer doing something, moving towards something that you want. Huh. Okay. So that's her core motivation. And then on the flip side, Shirase's core motivation is, my mother disappeared, left me with very little of her. She disappeared apparently on an expedition to Antarctica. I want to go and find her. And beyond that, she doesn't seem to have much expectation that she's actually going to succeed at finding her, and I'm going to make a prediction that she will not find her, that her mother is lost and gone, and that this search is not going to be about finding answers, at least not to the questions that she thinks she's asking. But she wants to go and find her. The more important thing, character-wise, and in terms of her relationship with Kimari's motivations, or her motivations, relationships with Kimari's motivations, sorry, is that people tell her you can't do it, and she takes that and burns it into fuel for her fire, which is an irrational mindset, but one that can be extremely powerful if the thing that you're actually moving toward, if your goal is good, is proper. And I think that hers is. That's the setup that we're given. So that's a fascinating interplay already. And then Megu is not listed as a main, right? Okay, so I'm going to expect that Megumi is not coming along. We still have two other characters that we haven't met, Yuzuki and Hinata. Hinata clearly works at the Konbini and just became interested at the end of this last episode as a little stinger teaser thing. So we'll probably focus on bringing her on board, haha, literally, in the next episode. Maybe both of them. That could work. Okay. Cool. It's really smart to keep it to the two main characters, at least as far as we know, as I know at this point, to these two main characters for this first episode. It lets them tell what they need to without it feeling rushed and giving it enough space to breathe. Maybe too much space to breathe. I thought the second insert song was a little bit much, but that's okay because they're on the way. They're moving on their journey, and we get to see a little touch of that, and in an emotional way that only music can really provide, without more depth on these characters and more understanding of who they are and what they want. Okay. Okay. So, those are the main things. Let me see. Mother wrote book, reluctance, went missing, go and find her, that's impossible, being something that we rebel against impossibility versus reluctance when there's nobody telling you can't do it. Two flip sides of human experience. Okay. Now, let's dig through the episode more closely, shall we? First things first, I think that the backgrounds are thoroughly enjoyable and rather gorgeous. All throughout. There's a really nice sense of realism to everything that is very reminiscent of KyoAni. When KyoAni works, they go out and take lots of pictures and do lots of actual location studies for real places. I feel like this is an actual subway platform that you can go and find a picture of. I feel like a lot of these school scenes are actual places. This library feels real. This park feels relatively real. Some of the waterfront locations also feel too accurate to be anything but animated reality. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, so we enter our core heart character, as far as we know. Could change. We enter our core heart character's life starting with a monologuing introduction about potential energy and letting it release, which we then rhyme with at the end of the episode to create an emotional impact and give us the indication that this is the start of the outpouring of energy, of flow. It's also relevant because it's a little leaf boat and stuff like that. And we do this exact sequence of cuts in reverse at the end, which I think is pretty clever. And I think works really well. Lots of cool water stuff. I'm hoping we see more cool water stuff because it's real pretty. And into Meet the Parents. Almost the first thing that we see on screen is a penguin in the background, which is blue, unlike almost anything else in the background, so it's immediately kind of a focus point. And more penguins by the window. Penguins all over the place. And stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks of romance novels or manga. They could be manga. They're probably manga. She's got some Pocky in the trash. She's got a half-drunk vending machine juice drink thing, and a penguin mug, and a goofy bed. It's a mess. It's a mess. Absolute mess. Which then becomes a point of character change and actual beginnings when her sister comes in and finds that it's clean. The room is cluttered, but beyond that, the shots that we choose are cluttered. I actually found some of these initial shots a little bit off-putting because of, well, they're cluttered. They're weird. They're strange. There are lots of things everywhere, especially here when she falls back into a pile of her own reading material and is bonked on the head by her own motivations and her life. It's very literally like, this is the life that you actually want. Bonk. Okay. We immediately notice the rather unique hair designs, which I quite like. I think these are rather attractive. I think the choice of just 2 tones, or I guess it's 3. It's 3 because we've got the darker shadows here as well. But mostly 2 tones with just solid white for the highlights. It's really nice. It looks super good. And I think it's a colored outline on the other side as well. But all the characters have it, and it's consistent again across all the characters. And it's done on not just their hair, but also the rest of them. It's done on her chin. It's done on the outline of her shirt. It's done on her arms and legs, and it makes the whole thing really coherent, lighting and highlight wise, and gives them a pretty clear indication of where light is and where it should be. I think it's really solid. I think it ties the whole aesthetic of the show together. And just after seeing this first episode, it's pretty excellent. Now, there were some interesting shots in the OP. There's this shot, which is just a spin, but it's combined with... Yeah, so she moves like that and flip spins us into Antarctica spinning. That's pretty cool. And then there's there are the sequence of shots, these, where they're like clustering around the camera, I assume? Or are we the map in this instance and they're drawing on us? I don't know. The pencil I scribble, yeah, I can't afford to be just lost any longer. The camera movements in this whole sequence are kind of bonkers. And aided significantly by overabundant use of lens flare, but to a purpose, because we're pointing our camera straight up. So it makes sense. Jesus, that is a cool cut. There are a number of cool cuts here. And then there's the rather incredible CG flyby that we do here. Watch them come into focus. At 24 FPS, we circle around them, which is not CG, but the boat is. And then we pull away from it there. That's pretty spectacular. Also, that is a Sella character in like half a second moment right there. I like that. She is real cute. And the little glasses flippy thing. All right. Hello, Tanuki. Okay, and then we enter into the conversational and expository-ish setup or segment of the episode, which is mostly a back and forth between Megu and Kimari, and is, I don't know, it's interesting. Our very first segment feels it feels like K-On! And it feels like Hibike, which is not terribly surprising, given that Juki Hanada has done writing stuff for both K-On! And Hibike. I don't know if he would have worked on episode 1, though. Because... I just don't know. Nope, did not do screenplay for episode 1 of K-On! And did series composition for Hibike. But is not responsible for either of them, technically. Okay. It feels rather reminiscent with the major Genki character who's undirected and kind of a leaf on the wind in life, waking up and entering a new stage of their journey, a new type of journey. She's a weird one. We get a lot of character out of her in this first segment, both from her room and the things that she has and interacts with, and the way that she interacts with her mother. It's kind of cute. I don't really understand why she bursts out crying, but I guess she maybe is just a goobery, goofbally, crybaby type of character. We'll see. All right. You can't just skip school, and her best friend, seemingly, immediately tells her, well, why not? It's not that big a deal. You could just do it. So she goes and tries to do it and doesn't do it. And gets caught up in all of the fear. A plane could crash. Yes, you can come up with excuses and reasons why anything is a bad idea if you want to. It is, oh, geez, there's a specific term that I used for this. Oh, I forget what it's called. Okay, well, it's probably not worth looking at. I'll make a note so that editing me can remove this portion of the video because it's just a waste of time. 5320 delete-o. Great. So why didn't you go? This kind of fallacious thinking around risk that like it can at the most extreme level become a severe paranoia. Like if I step outside, there is a 1 in an infinitesimally small chance that there's a landmine under my foot outside my door, and so I could step on it, and so I'm not ever leaving my house again. They're the kind of things that can lead into full paranoia or even full phobias, and they're unhealthy. But they're a natural part of the way that humans exist. We see risk and we go, nope, nope, nope. Risk-averse characters, risk-averse humans. It's a survival strategy. Sorry. And it's natural, and I think that all of us experience it to some degree. Some level of reluctance, or fear of the unknown, or unwillingness to dive into something without understanding and knowing the consequences of it. And on the flip side, there's the willingness to gamble and being almost having, we would call it having almost a death wish, running headlong into everything. And she's neither of those. She's right in the middle. She's normal and relatable, relatably afraid of jumping outside of her comfort zone. And I think that makes her an interesting core character for us. We'll have to see what the dynamics end up being once our other two are introduced, but even just these two core characters at the moment who give me kind of a, I don't know, they give me a little bit of a Kumiko Reina vibe. A little bit of a goober who doesn't know if she wants to do the thing, and a total diehard who definitely knows that she wants to do the thing. Meet up and do the thing together. These opening sequences are really well done. We get just enough information and enough goofy character to be interested in Kimari, and then introduce the reason that we should care about her and what she actually wants, how that will drive the story further. And then the conflict, which is that she wants to go and do this thing but doesn't have the stones to do it. Is afraid. Made the usual back at home. And then the inciting incident, which is she finds this money, which leads her to seeking out and eventually finding the long-haired girl who she met, eventually finding her in the hallway, and kind of accosting her in the bathroom, at which point we actually meet her, give her the money back, and discover her motivations. Why do you actually want this money? Why is a high schooler carrying around 1,000,000 yen? That's crazy. That's fucking nuts. We're introduced to all of her motivations, her reasons for doing the thing, the fact that she has been experiencing significant opposition from everyone in her life on this thing that she is genuinely and desperately passionate about going toward, as opposed to our introduced main character who has experienced no opposition whatsoever except the one inside of her. They're polar opposites in that way. One of them has only internalized barriers and obstacles to actually achieving their goals. One of them has externalized all of those and turned them into fuel for their motivation and drive to achieve their goals. It's a really interesting dynamic. Then we've got these side characters who we don't know anything about yet, and also no game of their life. Little self chill. Nice. We see glimpses of her being serious and focused and driven, and it's an indicator to us that this girl is going to get to her goal no matter what, and no matter how irrational everyone around her thinks it is. She is ultra dedicated, and we have to respect that. I do. I have to respect it. It's amazing. And of course, so does Kimari. So she finds the book, and her imagination is expanded by it. We see some of the obstacles, some of the ostracization that she experiences in her daily life. And for once, there's someone there to step in. And it's really cute. There's some really good character animation here. I actually want to see this one. Nope, I want to see that. I need to frame it. What? What? That is my favorite frame. Right there. Whoa. I just fell off. Okay, I'm going to write that number down because I hit the mic. 58. 34. I hope that this is an indicator of what is to come character animation-wise because I love it. All of these settings are really interesting and enable the framing of characters in cool ways. Yeah, whenever I try, I get scared and quit. But you've got that something. You got that something. You got that goal, that drive. So you want to come with me? Prove that you're dedicated. Prove that you're worthy. And she does. Kind of. I'm going on a journey. And then we come to the end of the episode, which rhymes with the beginning. She takes her step forward, finds her way to where she's going, and we enter the outside. Now, I'll say it again. I think that the second insert song is a little bit much. 2 insert songs in a row, bam, bam, into this running sequence and finding the place. I don't know, man. It's a lot. But that's okay. And then our little tease. Okay. Backgrounds, gorgeous. Character designs, really interesting, genuinely unique. You could recognize any frame of any of these characters as being from this show. I have never seen any show that has quite the same style of lighting and shadow. Just none. They're also rather grounded and down to earth with more naturalistic hair colors. We don't have anybody with pink hair or yellow hair or blue hair. We just have browns and blacks, and yet they are all so far incredibly distinct, unique looking, and it comes to multiple elements. Their facial shape, the way that their eyes are set in their heads, their eye shapes are all different. Our main character has the big old... I like talking about character eyes. Our main character has the big old wide Genki girl eyes with the wide outside edge, which you see a lot of to a more of an extreme in Yuru Our Shirase has a bit narrower eyes. She's got student council president eyes. Actually, her whole outline and whole design is kind of that way. Yeah. And they get a bit of a goofy moment together. And I assume that that's the ship that they're going to end up taking to Antarctica. How long is that going to take to actually get on the road? Or on the water? I don't know. Okay, general thoughts. And then we'll try to wrap this up because it's getting long. Backgrounds are gorgeous. A lot of them look like real places. Actually, I should mention that as well, because that was something that I was thinking of. Our first shots are cluttered and almost claustrophobic. They're inside, they're familiar. They remind me almost of the house inside Penguindrum. I know that's a weird thing to bring up just because penguins, but cluttered and familiar and home, but also a little bit claustrophobic, a little bit more gray, a little bit darker, a little bit less inviting. And we continue on that kind of imagery around the school. And even as she goes on these first steps of her journey attempt, there's always stuff obscuring her and obscuring the frame, and lots of sharp lines and industrial things, lots of telephone wires, and this shot in particular strikes me as blocky and constrained and, I don't know, not free. Not free. At which point we meet our other character in a rather claustrophobic environment, and then immediately as we speak with her, go outside onto the balcony, out into the fresh air, in order to be less constrained by such things. Enter our library and end up meeting at a open park where she steps out of the constraints of the bars that frame the rest of the scene in order to frame herself against water and sky, and invite us on a journey out of our shadow into the light that she is providing. Yeah, that works. That functions. Okay, but anyway, all that was just coming from all the backgrounds look really good. Characters look really interesting and unique. Music was wonderful so far. We haven't hit any like super strong emotional beats that need the power of the orchestral score yet, but it's there, and so it's almost Chekhov's score at this point. I know that there's going to be a point in this show where they're going to hit some emotional moment and also hit with a swell of the orchestral score at the same time, and maybe open up on a giant landscape as our characters run out to see the thing that they've been moving toward for so long, and it's going to be fucking amazing. Or we're going to have an emotional moment where Shirase can't find her mother and realizes that it's time to give up on that, and we're going to hit a painful emotional moment, and the score is going to swell in a dramatic way, and we're going to feel all the feels. Or she is going to find her mother and she's fucking encased in ice and dead, and we're going to do the same thing. I don't know, but at this point we've got a Chekhov score. It's on the wall. I don't know when it's going to go off, but it has to go off at some point within the show. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point of having the dope orchestral score? But it's really good so far. I think the most impressive thing throughout all of it is the lighting, and I don't know exactly who would get credit for that. I would be inclined to say that this is the work of Yuki Kawashita, the director of photography. Just given the way that Vinland recently did a lot of lighting and backgrounds and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. He also did Irregular at Magic High School, which has some interesting things on that front as well as Death Parade. Yeah, that seems reasonable to say that probably has a lot to do with it. Good job, Yuki Kawashita, and also anybody else who was responsible for that for the lighting, because I don't actually know. Cute characters, relatable motivations, clearly and rather simply conveyed to the audience in the first episode, with a rather powerful framing device of this opening sequence, ending sequence of potential energy spilling out into the kinetic and becoming alive, and then meeting our characters who embody that potential energy and are now spilling forth. Yeah. It was a clean first episode. And I like it. Alright, we'll see where we go from here, but we're going to have to wait a week to do so. Again, if you want to get next week's reaction, it'll be up on Patreon sometime today. I don't know what I'll be watching next week. 1 episode, 2 episodes, who knows. But it'll be up on Patreon sometime today if you want to check that out. And otherwise, I've been Teeaboo. This has been Sorayori, episode 1, and it was good. Yeah, this was a good first episode. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If there are things that I've missed, I am sure that there are, or you have any information or particular things that you want to share about this show, go ahead and throw them in the comments. Please refrain from spoiling things. That just would be really courteous and helpful. If you wouldn't spoil things in the comments, that would be very much appreciated. But if you've got your thoughts on this show, or my commentary on it, or any suggestions or recommendations or you think that the subs I'm using are shit or whatever, let me know in the comments and I will check those out. And otherwise, I will see you next week for more of Sorayori. Bye. Peace.